Hey guys, and welcome to another Take a Peek episode. This week we're taking a peek of a series I just finished, Knights of Pen and Paper Plus One Edition. So, let's just jump right into a loaded game. Not gonna start New Game Plus. I have essentially beaten the game at this point. So, what is this game? It's fairly straightforward. It's just like your standard D&D tabletop type game, but this time you actually find it on the PC. I would argue this is essentially the 4.0 system that has been heavily modified, especially in the use of mana. For those of you that don't know what that means, basically it's your standard fantasy game. You have fantasy game for computers, I should say. You have your characters. Your characters have their passive abilities, and then they have their active abilities that you can select and use. And then it's all based off of whether or not they can use these abilities is entirely based off of how much mana they have, and then they also have an HP bar. All the nitty-gritty stats are listed up here. You, of course, as with any tabletop role-playing game, you have all of your items that you can carry, which is 4 in this case, an unlimited number of any one of these items, which is odd, but 4 total items. And then, of course, your actual gear that you're wearing, so your weapon and your armor. And then your inventory is shared by the party. It is not specific to each individual character. So, everything's party loot. Pretty straightforward. You start off in, let's see if I can find, here we go. Start off basically in a tavern, but you won't find your real tavern until the first city, the one that I'm at right now. When you're here, at the very beginning of the game, you can create players. Pretty straightforward. You have what you can already see here, your mage, your rogue, cleric, paladin, warrior, there's a bard back there. You also have your druid, barbarian, again, bard, hunter, knight, shaman, necromancer, all to choose from. And then you can see I also have a little alien, a little kid, a guy in a cloak, some dude, and a grandma. You also have Mr. John, nerd, pizza guy, jock, Woofy, Harris, Ronaldo, Betu, Gooey, Hugo, Salu, Hipster, Flowers, Miss Goldberry, Hinks. And all these people, you don't start with all of them at the very beginning. You unlock them over time, but you can see they all come with a different passive ability. So if we go over here to Wolverine passive, Woofy, heals 1 HP per turn, and you compare that with, or put it up with a Barbarian. Then suddenly you have this barbarian that heals 1 HP per turn automatically, but then has all these extra abilities. A lot of passive abilities. 3 passive abilities and 1 active, Berserk. So, knowing that basically you enter Berserk mode, completely lose control, raises your attack. This guy is totally physical, so you'd want to do someone like, what do you got? Betu would be good for that, plus 3 bonus to attack. Or perhaps Hugo, extra threat, so the enemies are more likely to attack the barbarian. He's gonna have a lot of health anyways. And then extra crit chance, great. Maybe you want your barbarian to go on a little bit faster. Or maybe you want him to just do more damage, or less damage. It's very easily customizable, and I really like the way that he did this because it is actually very helpful. So let's just go ahead and do, where's the plus 3? There we go. We'll do Betu the Barbarian, and you start with a limited amount of gold at the very beginning of the game, a lot less than what I have right now. Like I said, this is very late game. The characters are very expensive right now. That's okay. If I have anyone, sure, let's do that. Druid, Miss Goldberry the Druid. A bard, hunter, Knight. Shaman. That guy's probably pretty heavy with magic. Although we should do a Knight that heals 1 HP per turn automatically. Because why not? Plus 1 bonus to attack for the Hunter. Sure. Let's do a Necromancer that has reduced threat and extra mana steal. That seems pretty good. Dewey the Necromancer. So you won't start with 5 immediately. It's pretty expensive, but you could start with upwards of 3, maybe 4. It's been a while since I've actually played the game from the very beginning. So now we have this level 1 team. You can see there's this nice whole map here, pretty easy to move around. The whole map, for the most part, starts out explored, although there are parts that you won't have access to until the very end of the game. The great majority is all here and ready to go. And just like you saw in the very beginning of the game, it's pretty easy. Normally you have quests denoted by an exclamation mark. However, again, they're not here right now, but you can always start in these little battles. So let's go ahead and fight a whole bunch of giant rats, because we can totally handle this many giant rats. Alright. We'll have him go berserk. You volley. 3 to 3 damage on that guy. Okay, so it hits a whole bunch of guys. How about Feral Rage on that guy? I have no idea what any of these do. I've never even used any of these characters before. Dragon Blood. But you can see we're not doing very much damage right now. Summon Minion. Good job, Minion. And battles just continue on like this. They always target the ones that are the most likely to, or the ones that have the highest threat. So you can see the threat rating up here. If you notice the past round, the Barbarian and the Knight took a lot of hits. You can see the threat of 4, 24% chance to get hit, and threat of 8, 47% chance. And then you go to Goldberry, which has a 12, and then the other two as well have very low threat chances. Will not go below 1. Quite a bit of health throughout the entire team. That's a lot more than you'd find at level 1, but again, I have access to quite a few things. Let's go ahead and chicken out. We'll chicken out of the battle, run away. We have a +2 luck, no problem. We ran away. Peep peep, chicken. We made it away. So in each town, you'll have a store that you can go to, so we can get rid of this bat amulet. Who needs that? And then, of course, equipment. You can buy and you can use. Obviously, I cannot use any of this equipment because no one in my party is that good. I could just use a bunch of bronze medals. Or, you know, the items you want to buy. These are one-use items you can find inside battle. Stuff like the portable shield or the greater phoenix up. Very helpful, especially later in the game when things get very difficult. But all this items, all this stuff, it's fully dependent on how you want to play the game. All of it is available from the very beginning of the game as long as you have the money. The money can be hard to get across, or to come across, but a little bit of farming never hurts. There's also an in-game shop. That's already gone. It's already been over 8 minutes. Oh man, whoop. You can buy snacks and drinks, which are limited use items. Most of the stuff you see on the table is limited use. You also have objects you can buy. These are permanent. They all give permanent effects. You need the Holy Grail to have all 5 players, so you want to pick that one up pretty early. The table determines what you get, like extra gold or extra crit chance. Maybe you want extra item finder. Maybe you just want a pretty table. Whatever you want. Your Dungeon Master here. Again, they confer different bonuses. You have your furniture on the left, your furniture on the right, what you want the door to look like, rug in the back, and then the books that are on the table. So the books over here, I'm using this one. But there are all sorts of different books you can use. And the pets. So, Johnny 6, or other things. And all of this you can buy. You can theme it if you want. So if you just want stone everything and make it all stone, you can. Or you can make everything gold. You can theme whatever you want. Or you can choose whatever you think fits best with what you currently need. Personally, I like to go with the gold. It works really well. Of course, you can stay at ends. That'll keep you rested up, heal up your HP, and restore your MP. And if you go out into the middle of nowhere like the Den of Devil... Oh, we're getting close, but we did make it. We're okay. Go ahead and mine these rocks. You can click on some stuff in most places. There's something you can click on, especially caves. You'll find rocks like these, which if you're successful, will give you grindstones. The grindstones will let you go to the blacksmith and upgrade your equipment. So again, the equipment that I pointed out in the very beginning, this stuff up here, that can be upgraded by grindstones, by going to the blacksmith and going through the process of upgrading them. But if you're out here in the middle of nowhere and you had this fight, someone got hurt, which may not actually happen because he rolled horrible initiative. But if someone got hurt from that, for example, then you can camp out. Uh-oh. Alright, so we got a low dice roll, so we have a random encounter. We're attacked in our sleep. I have no idea what that just did. Volley! Volley seems pretty good. We'll go Berserk. He'll start hitting people, do really well. Don't really have to worry about who he hits, as long as we can restore him. Let's help from below. Friendly target. Defensive strike. There we go. Okay, so I gave him a shield, so now he resists physical damage. With that shield, he can resist physical damage. Again, we'll go ahead and do... Actually, well, this time we'll do a heart shot. Let's mix it up a little bit. Broke his heart. He takes damage every turn because of the heart shot. It's kind of like he's bleeding out is what it looks like. Soul Pact. Friendly target. How about not? How about summon minion on the elites? So the elites are denoted by golden boxes. These golden boxes will... enemies with golden boxes tend to be a lot harder. Let's put it that way. So I got distracted. I did frontline, and then this guy now has much higher threat. See, now he has 9 threat at 41%, and then the barbarian with 8 threat at 36%. That's all because of that frontline ability that I just did right there. Summon another minion. Came up and immediately took him out. And we can just do a basic attack down here. You have defense and then use in-battle items. Pretty straightforward. We got a little banged up, but the barbarian really went to town on him. Lots of experience. So what happens when you get a lot of experience? You level up. So leveling up is pretty easy. You have 1 point, or however many points you have from your last level up, and you select something that you want to level up. So we'll sharpen axe. Sharpen the axe before the battle, increasing his damage by 1. So now we have greater attack with the barbarian. Let's go to the druid. Regeneration, so heals 8 HP to your target for the next 2 turns. Gaia's Blessing. Everyone recovers 5 MP. Pretty good. Hibernate. Sleep your target for 1 turn. When hit, the target wakes, gets critical damage. Lowers nature resistance by 2%. Feral Rage, you deal plus 10% nature damage, plus 10% bleed. Let's up that by 5%. So, with every level you get, you can just upgrade more of your abilities. And I like this, this summon minion. That's pretty cool. Let's do that again. Again, they're all level 2. They'll be stronger. And we can move on again. Let's just go ahead and go to Sunset Castle. Pretty low area. It's level 7. But for 5 people at level 2, we should be fine. Now we can go to the blacksmith. So let's go ahead and up. We have 4 grindstones. That increases the blacksmith's ability. And then we have 60% chance. Alright, so we got an upgraded axe for our barbarian. But let's do it again. Okay, we didn't get it this time, but we can try again. We didn't get it this time. This has been pretty bad. Alright, we got it. You can see we can keep going. Because the blacksmith's level 6, we can get level 6 equipment. Or rather, 6th upgraded equipment. Now, obviously, this is starting to get pretty expensive, so if you want to, you can go to the Barbarian, and we have these special items that'll reduce blacksmith cost, but they have to be the right level. Right now, we can use these little blacksmith stones, and that's 6% reduction in cost. So obviously, now it's a lot cheaper. And now the Barbarian is much stronger than he was before. For a little bit less money. Gonna take this stuff back off of him now that we're done. And let's go ahead and go to the store, and we'll buy up some beaks. And maybe a bronze medal. So again, we'll go to the Barbarian. Put in a medal, put in a beak, and another beak, and now the Barbarian's even stronger. There is one last thing that I forgot to mention at the very beginning of this episode. Basically, the premise of the game is just, it's a D&D game. So you go around, you complete quests, you just roleplay. But what I forgot to mention is, obviously, you're the players. I've been playing as the players the whole time. But you notice I can also create my own encounter. That's because you're also the dungeon master. That hurt. So if, for example, I want to completely screw myself and go up against a whole bunch of these guards, I can create an encounter for myself and then, well, kill off my entire team. Obviously, I won't do that. I'm not suicidal, but we'll just go back to default village in the meantime. Once you get to a much higher level, then it becomes much easier. Move around the map, go to more difficult places, you know, places like the Flying Dutchman ship, level 17, or maybe you want to go out to the Miami Beach, level 18. Cave of Instant Death is level 27, or the Chromatic Nest at level 40. As with any D&D game, you have your dragons, you have your bandits, your town guards, you have your dungeons, which is what denoted by these black flags. These are all dungeons. Cities, temples, plains, forests, magical floating stuff that doesn't make any sense, but it's all there. Honestly, this game is quite a lot of fun. It's worth one playthrough. I don't see much of a point in going into New Game Plus for this game. It is a good game for one playthrough, but it does get very repetitious. I know I personally like to go for the full experience and go through the entire campaign. There is some hidden stuff at the very end. You can go through the entire campaign and never see any of the hidden stuff, never unlock the druid or the necromancer. But I do think it's worth it to go through and 100% the game. It doesn't take much. You see, I have 100% of the game. Everything's 100% everywhere I go. It doesn't take much time to 100% the game, other than the full standard playthrough. It'll take you through most of it. And then going through the little side quests, they're very beneficial and make the main campaign a little bit easier as you go along. If you're more interested in this game, I do recommend going and checking out my series. I will play through the entire campaign, 23 episodes. So, it was a lot of fun. This game was definitely a lot of fun, but just like the sending off with Rogue Legacy, this is a sending off for Knights of Pen and Paper. We're over day 1000 at this point. Each day is denoted by sleeping or taking an action, like traveling. Those take days as well. This game used to have, at the very beginning, a microtransaction system where you could spend money to buy coins. However, they did remove that, and now the only way to get coins is to go into the game and do little battles against creatures, and they'll give you money. Or complete quests. The one thing, though, I mentioned earlier, you can create your own encounters, just like this, fairly easy. But you cannot create your encounters in the quests. Those are very specific and those never change, really, unless it's a random encounter, like moving from place to place that we saw earlier. When I tried to camp and I had a bad die roll, that random encounter, obviously, I had no part in other than just being there. So the game's not completely in your control, but it is for the most part. So that's going to be the end of this episode, guys. It's been long enough, and it's been a great series. I've really had a lot of fun doing this. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time with another Take a Peek. But I will not see you next time for another Knights of Pen and Paper +1 edition. Take care.